Welcome to Dependable Flame, where we explore vintage petrol lighters, ashtrays, tobacconiana, and other useful mechanisms. Make yourself at home. Today we have a really cool old aluminum block petrol lighter. Has a plastic snuffer of some sort. We talked about it a little bit on the live stream, Coffee and Lighters Live. I'm not an expert on these old kind of plastics. I think that there were a couple people in the live stream that day that said it looked like Bakelite. I don't know the difference between Bakelite, Catalan, whatever other kind of plastics there might have been. We also talked about the possibility that the plastic snuffer cap had been commandeered from elsewhere. That the original use for this cap may have been something else, maybe used in some other wartime type expendable that might have had that lid. I don't believe it's a wartime lighter. I think it's probably from just after World War II. My own perception would be that it probably wasn't even made in Germany. Looks like that is marked Germany, 1945. It's possible. I think that this lighter was most likely made and marketed to try to take advantage of those that would be looking for a souvenir. A keepsake, something from that particular time as they went through an airport, maybe in Germany, maybe elsewhere in Europe, but who knows, it could have even been produced right here in the States. The lighter works very well. It is very small, hexagonal shape, sort of like a giant nut. It's pretty much an every strike working lighter though. I do worry a little bit about snuffing it with the plastic snuffer, but I think it is strong enough and it snuffs fast enough that you don't really have to worry about that burning it. Of course, I was sort of ignorant a few years back and had our buddy Giovanni Abazia, which here I strike it 3 times and it doesn't light. Our buddy Giovanni Abazia pointed out to me that you don't ever want to blow on a lit wick because then it's going to singe your wick. You want to snuff it. Blowing on it is only going to produce more carbon, more burning, and you're not really trying to burn your wick. There's also a really cool cutout windscreen here. So not a one-handed lighter. Not one you're going to maybe use while you're driving down the road. But if you got 2 hands available, the fuel economy in this lighter seems to be pretty good. Seems to seal off really nice and tight. It does show scratches, scuffs, dings, other blemishes. One thing you usually don't have to worry too much about with aluminum block lighters are dents. You might get some minor dings on corners, things like that, but you don't usually have huge dents right inside of them because it's a solid piece of metal that's just been machined out. This has a really interesting Flint tension mechanism here. You see there is no Flint spring screw. The Flint spring screw in effect is the fuel screw, which comes off, and then your Flint spring has this little tail piece that has been half machined off to where it fits down under. Oh boy, I just sent that flying across the room somewhere. Okay. I feel very blessed right at the moment because you saw I had my finger on that in the video and it came off of it and this flew up and hit the ceiling and I had no idea where it came down at. So once again, folks, remember, Flint spring screws are one of the things that you need to be most careful with because it is very easy if you lose contact with the screw. Well, this one doesn't even have a screw on it. It was just pushing down in there. But those springs have the ability to fly all the way across the room, which that one did. We were just fortunate and blessed enough to retrieve it. So anyway, it is somewhat of a unique Flint tension mechanism. There you see our Flint, which we will put back down the tube, which in this case the tube is really just a drilled hole. Get the spring back on top and hold that down with our thumb as we thread the fuel screw back down into place, which then holds that little spring keeper in place and causes everything to work as it should. It's not a perfect lighter, as we pointed out. It does have blemishes, scratches, scuffs, wear to the finish. There's an engraving here that says Germany, 1945. Where and when that was applied to the lighter, I have no idea. I would be interesting if others have seen similar lighters that may have been marked with this windscreen design. Not only the windscreen design being somewhat unique, the screw-on plastic cap and the Flint spring tension mechanism there that employs the threads of the fuel screw, or I should say the threading of the fuel screw down in order to keep it into place. Really cool old lighter that will make a great addition to someone's collection, whether it is something that you want to add to put into your EDC rotation. Seems to have fairly good fuel economy for how little of fuel it holds. There doesn't appear to be a whole lot of evaporation. Seals off pretty tight there with the plastic threads threading into the aluminum. Closes that wick off nice and tight. And then while there is no gasket or seal on the fuel screw, the threads are deep enough, robust enough that it appears that there is not a great deal of evaporation there either. Until next time.